Hello everyone. So in today's tutorial video, we are going to learn about one of the transformation which is used most primarily whenever you are working with a complex database queries, that is the stored procedure transformation. So this transformation is majorly is a wrapper on the actual database stored procedure. Uh, I believe you all are aware of a database stored procedure, what exactly it is. So a DB stored procedure is nothing but statements or a set of statements within the database, or rather the SQL queries, which formulates a logic and that logic drives what exactly need to be the input that you need to push to this database stored procedure, and it will return you value based on the database level of calculations or a set of SQL queries. So that's how it is a wrapper on the actual database stored procedure. By the way, this stored procedure is a passive passive transformation, and it's a connected, and it can be used as a connected as well as unconnected transformation. So as we had learned earlier regarding the lookup transformation, which can be used as connected as well as unconnected, this is also another transformation which can be used as connected and unconnected transformation. So let me log into the client designer. Okay, so I'm going to the repository which we had created last time. And if you remember, we have not created any data onto it as of now. So let me first state the problem so that it is clear to all of you. So assume that I have a source table which is nothing but a employee table. So let me name this as EMP underscore SRC. So this is the table name for me. And just a minute, I think it's okay. So let's say that this is my table name, and this contains 3 columns. So let me state these columns as one is the ID, second thing is the salary, and the third thing is the commission. So these are the 3 columns available in my source, and so basically this is my source, and my expectation is on the target. Let me name this as EMP underscore TRG. This contains only 2 output ports. One is the EMP ID, and the second thing is the total salary, and this is going to be my target. So now I have to write some mechanism to transfer the data available in my source to the target, and my output table only contains one port called total salary, which should be which should be ideally the summation of my salary plus the commission for that employee. So for that, I need to create some transformation, and this transformation is going to be the stored procedure transformation, because let's say I have already authored a stored procedure within my database. So basically on my database layer where this table is residing, so let's say this is my database, and this contains the three columns. One is ID, one is salary, and one is commission. And this is containing some values. So let's say that 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 values, and let's say this is something like 1,000, 2,000, 1,500, and let's say 3,000. So these are my salary, and let's say the commission is something like this. Let's say these are my commission values, and on the same database I have a stored procedure available. So there will be a stored procedure table, and let's say there is a stored procedure whose name is add sal com. So this is my stored procedure name, and this stored procedure actually contains some information within it. So what I'm going to do sorry, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a stored procedure transformation, which again, as I said, this is going to be the wrapper on the actual database stored procedure. So this will internally make call to this particular stored procedure, and this guy will have the actual logic for calculating the salary plus commission, and that is what I'm going to get inside this transformation. So that means I have to get all the inputs from the source to the target row by row, and this guy will call to the stored procedure available on the database, and it will give me a calculated value, and based on that I am going to populate the target table. So this is pretty simple. So that's what we are going to implement. So for that, let me first open a database and see whether my data is there or not. So let me open a SQL worksheet. So I have connected to my source database for now. And what I'm going to do here is I am going to create a table with these 3 fields as I have explained. So let me create that. Create table. I have to name it as emp_src as I have given on the Excel sheet. Create table. And I have to create it using the 3 columns. So let me name this as EM. First one is ID. ID is going to be a number, and let's restrict this to maybe 10. I need to have a salary component. It's also going to be a number. Let me say it as a 10. And the last one is the commission. Again, this is going to be a number. Let's keep it as 10. So table is now created. I'm going to dump some values to it. So let me say insert into emp underscore src values. Let's say there are 4 values as I have mentioned earlier: 1000, 1500. See this once. So similarly, let me create few other records as well. Let me create in one shot. So let's say I have created 5 records to it. Let me commit all these records. And let's now see it on the Oracle system. So you can see I have created this 5 records with the fields as salary and commission. Now let me go to the target database and create a schema for it where I'm going to dump all these records in the target. So I'm using the target user, and on this I'm going to create a simple blank schema, create table emp underscore let's say trg, and on this I'm going to keep 2 columns. One is emp id, which is a number, let's say of 10, and a total salary component, which is again a number 10. That's it. Table got created. Let me commit the change. Okay, so now if I see the select command, you can see there is no rows as of now. So I will go in Informatica and let me go to the source analyzer. I'm going to pull the so basically the source native connection object which I have created. This is the source native connection, and my username is, and this same is my password as well. Now you can see that I have a table called emp src. Now I have imported this table. Let me save this for now. And in the same way, I'm going to the target and I'm again going to import it because I have already created from the outside system, but this is going to be in the target connection object. The user is rnw demo rnw trg, and this is the same password I have. So if you connect, you can see the tables. I have created this emp trg table over there. Click on OK and just save this. So I have the 2 data, that is the source and target, is available. So what I can do here is I can simply create a new mapping for it. So let me name this as connected stored procedure trans example. I'm going to show you the connected one we will discuss about the unconnected one later. So I created a new mapping, and in this mapping I'm going to pull the source, which is nothing but the the source which I have created just now, and I have to pull the same target, which is the target I have created. Now if I go and save this, you can see that the mapping is invalid because I have not added any connections to the source to the target. So that's why it's invalid, but that's fine. So as I have explained you, there has to be some output stored procedure. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a stored procedure outside this Informatica system on the source database itself. So for that, I'm again coming to the Oracle system and creating this stored procedure. So I believe you all know how to create the stored procedure command in Oracle. So the command is create or replace procedure, and let me name the procedure as add sal com, and this will take one input and it's going to give me a one output. So let me name this as I_EMP_ID, which is my input port, and this is a number. Then I need another output port, so let me name this as total. It's going to be an output port, and again this is a number. And the procedure is something like this. So I will have to write the procedure code within this begin and end block. So this is the place where I need to write all the SQL commands which I need to execute under this procedure. So let me write a very simple command for calculating the sum of salary per versus commission. So it is going to be select sal is the column name which I have given, plus there is a command within or rather there is a function within Oracle which we call it as NVL. So what it does is if there is any null value, it will ignore that and push commission as 0. Otherwise it is going to put the actual value for the commission. So the syntax is something like this. So this function will check the value of commission, and if it is not null, it will take that value and add it with the salary. If this value is null, it is going to append it or rather replace it using 0 and make the summation with the salary. And I have to put this on an alias. So let me put it into the output parameter, which is going to be the total, from where I have to select. So the source for this is going to be EMP_SRC, where I know the column name inside this is ID equal to, I have to compare it using the input which I am getting in this procedure. So this is going to be the function name, and once the procedure is written, I have to end this procedure. So this is how I can create a procedure, and this procedure is going to be created within the user called demo RNW_SRC. So let me now execute this. You can see the procedure got created. I can commit this now. If there is any warning, you can type in warning and you can see if there is any warning while that. So there is no warning as of now. Oh, sorry. So this command, or rather, if you want to see any errors, actually the command for that is show errors on procedure. So this is the procedure and the procedure name is empsal_com. Or rather, I think I have given add salcom. So that is the procedure name I have given. If you see that, there is no errors as of now. So I'm all good to go. So now come back on the Informatica designer. Here, I have to create a transformation, which as I said, it is going to be the wrapper on the stored procedure at the database level. So again, stored procedure need to be prefixed, or the nomenclature for this should be stored procedure transformation, SPT underscore. I'm going to use the name as employee salary calculator. When you click on create, it will ask which ODBC connection you want to connect to get all the procedures in that database. So I have my database procedure on this connection object against user called demo_rnw_src. Connect to it. Here you can see what functions and procedures are. So I have a procedure called add salary commission. So this is the procedure I need to select, click on OK and say done. Now you can see I get a transformation where all the ports are pre-selected. So there is an input port which I cannot disable because this has to be there, and there is an output port which I cannot disable because that is what the value which need to be returned from the database stored procedure. If you see this, by default the target, the connection information is stated as target, but my data is not in $target. So we will see where exactly we need to make the change. As of now, I'm keeping it as it is. It needs it needs an input for employee ID. So I'm connecting it using the ID from the source qualifier. And the same I'm going to give the target as well. Again, it is not going to the target. The reason is in port, the output is marked as is not marked as output port. So let me mark it as an output port. Now if I drag drop this, it will allow me to make the connection. Similarly, the total, I can drag it to the total output salary. So this is how my transformation will look like. Now let me save this. Now it is saying that my mapping is valid. I'm opening the workflow manager where I'm going to create a new workflow for this. Let me name this as workflow for stored procedure trans example. Let me copy this. I'm going to create a session task. I think I gave double. So let me create this. So I'm going to select the mapping for it. Now let me link this. On this properties, let me select the right source and the right target. Now come to the mapping level. Here you can see I am changing the connection object to $source because that's what I have already specified on the properties tab. No change here. Go to the target. This connection object, I'm changing it to $target. Change the load target type as normal. I'm clicking on truncate target table because I want, if I rerun, I don't want to append my table. And on this transformation, now you can see the reason why I'm always using the uh, properties. So this is sitting in my dollar source connection object. So I have to change this to dollar source, and rest all is fine. So I'm not changing anything here right now. Say apply, okay, save this. So now my workflow is all ready. So let me execute this. Cool. So right now this is showing me succeeded. If I go on this session log, come to the end and make sure whether the updates has been done or not. So here I can see in the load summary that 5 output rows got updated. Let me go to the SQL and simply on the target database, check for select star from EMPTRG. So if you remember earlier, there were no rows available in that table. Now if I do this, you can see there is a total salary, which is nothing but the summation of your salary and the commission table. So 1000 plus 500, 1500, 2 plus 2, 4000, 1200 plus 800, 2000. Similarly, you can see these values are available on my output target table. So that's how the stored procedure transformation is. I hope you understood this. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me or feel free to put a comment so that I can revert to you. Thank you.